It's the pride or the punishment to Saskatchewanians everywhere, located, in Manitoba, Canada. We're at the Seskatuhewanian's Segway Speedway for our latest and greatest edition of the Segwacing International League. Alongside Wason Richie Schuler, I'm Sam Farber, and it is a pleasure and a privilege to have you with us here north of the border for this latest race.
Well, this is an intriguing matchup. You have two rookie competitors. You have a track length of 80 meters and two wacers making their Segwacing International League debut. Both been in the game a few years, but they're worlds apart, and they've never waced against each other before.
We'll get to our wacers in a moment. First, the track. Lap 1 features the speed bump. Laps 2 and 3 feature the stool, and lap 4 is the 3S sprint, because if you could say Seskatuhewanian Segway Speedway sprint before someone finishes it, you're just not racing fast enough.
Well, this track's been around since 2017, and there has been some controversy over this track and its lap distances. And if you look at the leaderboard here in just a moment, Sam, you'll see a lot of the Russians have dominated that.
They have indeed. Now, the track record has nothing to do with the head-to-head battle, but of course, with the talent we have today, we're looking to maybe say dos vidanya to Alexei Kuznetsov.
And although the Russians hold 6 of the top 10 here, we haven't seen any Russian racers since a doping fiasco in 2017.
Maybe we'll have time for that later on today, but first let's meet our racers. Phan, the 37-year-old rookie from Vietnam, and Bastien LeBlanc in his home country of Canada.
Well, it's interesting because both these racers use different types of segways. Phan right here used the modified Mini Pro. It has a higher weight capacity than the Mini Light, which is actually what Bastien LeBlanc uses when he goes out there and races.
Phan, again, a 37-year-old rookie, the protege of Gudrun Einarsson, who lost in our last edition of the Segwacing International League to Theodore Castillo back in Quito, Ecuador.
Well, you'll see Phan. He is a rookie, but he is slow and steady, and he's kind of like Bowser in Mario Kart. You know, he's usually just a little bit heavy, but he stays under control and consistent at all times.
We'll see if he throws any shells at his competitors.
We'll see about that.
He's in lap 2, making the turn, aggressive into the turn, I might add.
Well, he has a very unique racing style. He's slow and steady. When I saw him in the food court yesterday, Sam, I thought he was a sumo wrestler. Good God, he is a big and strong guy.
Nice on the dismount. Now into the 3S sprint to wrap up Heat 1. Track record is just under 43 seconds, and Phan checks in at 47.47.
Not a bad time. Stays under balance at all times, and it's really utterly incredible what a little junk in the trunk will do for you as a segwacer. He's always under control, and he's consistent at that. Great extension here to get a pretty solid time.
The mark has been set by Phan. You see, overall, a solid but not spectacular time, almost 5 seconds off the track record. Now it's time for Bastien LeBlanc, the New Brunswick basher from Northwestern Territories in British Columbia.
Well, he's another rookie. He's a master crystallogist. I like his build. He's tall, he's lean, he's thin, he looks athletic. Now, he's not as under control as Phan is, but how could you forget a stash like that? Two names come to mind, Anchorman and Chester.
No problems over the speed bump, and now time to pick up the stool.
Well, he does a good job at that, and you see Craftsman is the leader, and they're the ones that paid for the sponsorship here in the Segwacing International League. Matter of fact, they paid big money for the use of their stools. They were bids from WorkPro, Torin, Traxion, DeWalt, even Graco High Chairs.
Anything to be involved in the Segwacing International League. Time to beat 47.47. Dropping off the stool on lap 3, a little bit flirtatious, let's say, with the line.
He gets any closer, there's going to be a penalty. That's course rules. You have to let that thing go in time. A little bit dangerous there for Bastien LeBlanc.
It's an important rule to keep in mind with the stool.
As you see the drop-off right there. You know, we'll see. I think he's fine, but he's got to keep an eye on that.
A time of 45.43. Bastien LeBlanc. He holds a 2-second lead through one heat of today's racing. Now on to Heat 2. Phan with some work to do. Certainly seems in the early half of his race, he was significantly slower. See if he lets it all out here.
Well, again, he uses great balance. He uses a great center of gravity. He gets around all turns without any issues whatsoever. You know, back in Vietnam, he's actually a national park ranger and, in fact, a zip line instructor.
He's going to have to use a little bit more zip on this heat if he wants any chance at catching up to Bastien LeBlanc. Slower once again through lap 1. And lap 2, not much better. In fact, he's a full second and a half slower in lap 2 than what we saw from LeBlanc.
Well, he's 5 years older than LeBlanc, and he has a couple of less years experience in the Segwacing International League. Now, he's a protege of Gudrun Einarsson, who's won his fair amount of Segwacing World Championships. But I like that running man technique that we just saw from PHAN. Terrific technique. He stays under control at all times. When you go back and see that running man technique, it has proven. Analytics have shown that it knocks off at least 4 to 5 hundredths of a second, which could pay dividends, as you know, in a race like this, Sam.
A+ for style. Speed a little lacking, though. He checks in at 47.64, slower than his initial heat. Time now for Bastien LeBlanc's second go at it here at the Seskatuhewanian Segway Speedway.
He looks a little tight and nervous from the get-go here. Speed bump always tends to throw some racers off, but oh, wow, look at that. That's amazing rebalance.
Able to catch himself. Just the slightest bobble can spell disaster in Segwacing. Takes a seat on the stool, presented by
Craftsman, of course. He's taken advantage of all 12.5 maximum miles per hour that these Segways go. Has 5 years racing the Segwacing Club, the Nova Scotia Suns. But let's see how this drop-off goes. The last time it was very close.
That
wow.
left close behind a while ago. Into the 3S sprint, and he'll wind up with a time of 44.90, a personal best. But you see the yellow flag on lap 3.
Now, I appreciate the celebration at the end, but I'm not sure he realized that the judge flagged that time, and it has to be because the way he dropped off the stool.
See the time. It's solid, but let's check in with the best-dressed broadcaster on one axle, Rashawn Haylock, who's down on the track.
Yeah, Sammy, you and Richie talked about it. Look at it right here. I mean, you have to have all of your parts in contact when you cross the stool. He backs that thing up, but it's a runny stool. As it goes across the line, officials definitely going to have to clean that up. He could be looking at a 1-second penalty.
Thank you, Rashawn. We'll check in with you again later. PHAN into his third and final heat, and the rate he's going, it looks like he's hoping that the judges apply a significant penalty to Bastien LeBlanc.
And you just kind of referred to it a little bit, Sam. The powered management that he's using to finish his course is quite impressive. And we talked about it in the past, but the regenerative braking that PHAN takes advantage of, really makes him quite the consistent racer. He's
into his third lap. Again, a big thank you to everyone here in Manitoba. We're not actually in Saskatchewan, but this is such a beautiful track that Seskatuhewanians from Moose Jaw to Prince Albert flock here throughout the Segwacing season.
It's a great point, Sam.
On to the 3S sprint. Consistent, especially on that 3S sprint, the final lap, as he checks in with a 6.68 final lap, but his time significantly slower, 49.5 seconds. This is barely SIL caliber racing.
He's always had a passion for Segwacing, and one thing that we probably don't know about PHAN is that he's an adamant fan of tiny cooking on YouTube.
We all have our hobbies. Let's go check in again with Rashawn Haylock before Bastien LeBlanc's third heat.
Yeah, I just overheard LeBlanc talking to his coach, Theodore Castile, and look, he was really close on that last heat. Don't be surprised on this current heat to see him really push the envelope. He lives by the motto of the famous American football philosopher Joe Montana, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, Sammy.
Well, he was doing a little bit of both in Heat 2. Thank you, Rashawn. As we're into Heat 3, Bastien LeBlanc, he certainly takes a lot of inspiration from a variety of sports. He is the 2016 Yukon Broom Hockey Champion with the Ontario Spirits. Unknown if he cheated to win that title as well, but hey.
Well, I'm just curious if LeBlanc is, what's going on through his mind right now? As a fellow racer, I mean, what is he thinking? He just got flagged by the judge. Is he coming out aggressively? Is he being a little bit reserved? I want to see, how does he drop off this stool right here? Is it going to be early again? And it is.
It is.
It is. That's not right.
Time to adjust that honor rating, judges. Time to adjust that honor rating.
Yeah, there's just no room for this behavior, Sam, especially as a rookie. Who does he think he is? You can't just reach behind you and grab your stool and throw it wherever you want. That's just not right.
Right now we see his name up there on the leaderboard, and we say dos vidania to not one but two Russians. Adrian Preobrazhensky and Alexei Kuznetsov are gone. But the official review, it's clear. I don't even know what's taking so long.
There is no doubt, and this has got to be corrected. The French in Bastien LeBlanc is French. They're willing to sacrifice everything for a win, even if it comes down to cheating here in the Segwacing International League. It's just not right, Sam.
You see the judges have applied the 1 second penalty. It's enough to influence his final time, but not the final standings. Bastien LeBlanc will take the head-to-head win over PHAN.
Well, that's just interesting. I thought LeBlanc had it in hand if he had just stayed true, but at the end of the day, PHAN just says, kiss my tread marks. It's just kind of like what Jeff Gordon said. Racing is not what I like to do. It's flat out winning.
He gets the win, but his name is off the all-time leaderboard. He's a rookie, though. Plenty of time to make up for that. Been a fun day of racing here in Manitoba, Canada at the Seskatuhewanian Segway Speedway. For my broadcast partner, Wason Richie Schuler, and the best-dressed broadcaster on one axle, Rashawn Haylock, I'm Sam Farber saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next time in the Segwacing International League.
Ha ha ha.